Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to cover a very important and very, you can say, technically difficult topic to understand. Uh, this topic is applications of Avogadro's law. Now, in your textbook, this topic is covered, and I tried making one video on that earlier, but it was not very convincing. There were many doubts. Even I was having doubts in what I was explaining. So what I did now is I left the textbook alone for a moment, and here I have tried explaining this whole concept in my own terms, my own words, and also I have written some theory uh, regarding these applications. So if at all you are facing a problem which is theoretical, uh, a question which is theoretical based on the theoretical applications, theoretical uh, applications of Avogadro's law, then you can frame the answer and you can write properly. So that was my idea, and I have done this. So I'm going to explain it to you. I hope that you'll understand everything, and then we'll have the numericals based on applications of Avogadro's law. Okay, so are you ready to begin? Let's start. The first application of Avogadro's law. Avogadro's law explains Gay-Lussac's law. Now see, I've written two equations over here. Let me use another color highlighter. How about this? Okay. So we have hydrogen plus chlorine gives 2HCl. H2 plus Cl2 gives 2HCl. Now we know that H2 is X molecules. If we consider Cl2 will also be X molecules, but 2HCl will be 2X molecules. That is what Avogadro's law states. And on the basis of Avogadro's law, we can say that if the ratio between the molecules of hydrogen and chlorine and hydrochloric acid or hydrogen chloride is 1 is to 1 is to 2, then the ratio between the volumes will also be 1 is to 1 is to 2. The ratio between the volumes will also be 1 is to 1 is to 2, which is Gay-Lussac's law, which says that when gases react, they do so bearing simple whole number ratio with one another and the gaseous products. So I've written some statements for explaining what I just told you. Avogadro's law states the relationship between number of molecules of different gases under the same conditions of temperature and pressure. Okay, so uh, if we consider hydrogen chlorine and hydrogen chloride to be at the same conditions of temperature and pressure, then we can easily find the relationship between the number of molecules which they contain. And if we find a relationship between the number of molecules, it can give us insight regarding the volumes of gaseous reactants and products, because more number of molecules, that means more volume. So ratio of number of molecules of different gases under same conditions of temperature and pressure is equal to the ratio of their volumes, right? Higher the number of molecules present in a gas, higher the volume it will occupy at a certain condition of temperature and pressure, right? So Avogadro's law, which is basically the number of molecules, which gives you the relationship regarding the number of molecules, also explains Gay-Lussac's law, which gives you the relationship between the volumes of gaseous reactants and products. That is the first application of Avogadro's law. Second application is Avogadro's law determines atomicity of gases. Now, what is atomicity? Atomicity of a gas. Let me write this over here so you understand what is atomicity. Atomicity of a gas is the number of atoms of any element, I'm sorry, number, atomicity of a gas is the number of atoms of any element present in one molecule of it. Present in one molecule of it. Atomicity of a gas is the number of atoms of any element present in one molecule of it. किसी भी गैस के एक मॉलिक्यूल में उस एलिमेंट के कितने एटम्स है वो उस गैस की एटॉमिसिटी होती है. जैसे हाइड्रोजन के एक मॉलिक्यूल का जो मॉलिक्यूलर फॉर्मूला है वो है H2. दैट मीन्स हाइड्रोजन की एटॉमिसिटी है 2, क्योंकि हाइड्रोजन के एक मॉलिक्यूल में दो हाइड्रोजन के एटम है. सिंपल. तो एवोगाद्रोस लॉ से हमें एटॉमिसिटी डिटरमाइन कर सकते हैं. कैसे? तो एक एग्जांपल दिया है मैंने. H2 plus Cl2 gives 2HCl, और एवोगाद्रो लॉ सीधा इस पे अप्लाई करेंगे तो H2 और Cl2 में X मॉलिक्यूल्स ईच होंगे और HCl में 2X मॉलिक्यूल्स होंगे. राइट. नाउ इन द अबाउ रिएक्शन, देखो मैंने क्या लिखा है इसके नीचे, इसका एक्सप्लेनेशन कैसे एटॉमिसिटी में ढूंढूंगा. In the above reaction with the help of Avogadro's law, we can observe that one molecule of HCl is made up of half molecule each of hydrogen and chlorine. अब देखो ये जो X मॉलिक्यूल्स थे यहाँ पे, ठीक है, और यहाँ पे 2X मॉलिक्यूल था, इनको अगर सबको थ्रू आउट 2 से डिवाइड किया तो ये 2X मॉलिक्यूल क्या बन जाएंगे? X मॉलिक्यूल्स. और ये X मॉलिक्यूल्स क्या बन जाएंगे? X/2 एंड X/2 मॉलिक्यूल्स. इसका क्या मतलब है? इसका मतलब है कि ये जो X मॉलिक्यूल है, अगर उसको हम लोग 1 मॉलिक्यूल पकड़े तो ये X/2 मॉलिक्यूल को हाफ हाफ मॉलिक्यूल हमें लेना पड़ेगा. राइट. इसका मतलब है 1 मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ HCl में हाफ मॉलिक्यूल क्लोरीन का है और हाफ मॉलिक्यूल हाइड्रोजन का है. लेकिन एटम्स तो इंडिविजिबल होते हैं, मतलब हाफ मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ हाइड्रोजन एंड क्लोरीन मस्ट कंटेन 1 एटम ईच ऑफ हाइड्रोजन एंड क्लोरीन. एटम्स तो इंडिविजिबल होते हैं, तो अगर ये 1 मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ HCl हाफ मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ क्लोरीन और हाफ मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ हाइड्रोजन से बना है, तो ऐसी बात है कि ये हाफ मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ हाइड्रोजन एंड क्लोरीन is nothing but one atom of hydrogen and chlorine. Right. So also if half molecule of hydrogen and chlorine is equal to one atom of hydrogen and chlorine, so we can say that in one molecule of hydrogen and chlorine there are two atoms of hydrogen and chlorine respectively. इसके लिए हाइड्रोजन और क्लोरीन की एटॉमिसिटी हम बोल सकते हैं 2 है. ठीक है. तो ये टेक्निक से जो नंबर ऑफ मॉलिक्यूल्स का रिलेशनशिप एवोगाद्रोस लॉ देता है गैसियस कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट्स में, ऑफ कोर्स ये सिर्फ गैसेस की एटॉमिसिटी डिटरमाइन कर सकता है, लिक्विड्स या सॉलिड की नहीं. तो वहां पे सोचना भी मत कि कोई दूसरा सब्सटेंस होगा जो सॉलिड या लिक्विड होगा तो उसकी एटॉमिसिटी कैसे मिलेगी. एवोगाद्रोस लॉ से तो नहीं मिल सकती, बिकॉज इट ओनली गिव्स यू रिलेशनशिप ऑफ गैसेस, नॉट एनी अदर सब्सटेंसेस. क्योंकि गैसेस का बिहेवियर एक पिक्यूलियर होता है जिसको हम लोग स्टडी करके ये सारे रिलेशनशिप में डाल सकते हैं, जनरलाइज कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. सो दिस इज हाउ वी डिटरमाइन एटॉमिसिटी ऑफ अ गैस. थर्ड एप्लीकेशन इज Avogadro's law determines the molecular formula of a gaseous compound. Molecular formula क्या होता है? It is the chemical formula of a compound which shows the actual number of atoms of different elements present in one molecule of any compound. जैसे कि H2O. H2O क्या है? मॉलिक्यूलर फॉर्मूला है किसका? वाटर का. वो हमें बताता है कि वाटर के एक मॉलिक्यूल में दो हाइड्रोजन है और एक ऑक्सीजन, H2O. राइट. नाउ मेथड ऑफ डिटरमाइनिंग एटॉमिसिटी ऑफ गैसेस यूजिंग एवोगाद्रोस लॉ हमने ऑलरेडी पढ़ ली. तो एटॉमिसिटी तो हम निकाल सकते हैं. वी कैन फाइंड द मॉलिक्यूलर फॉर्मूला ऑफ अ गैसियस कंपाउंड यूजिंग एवोगाद्रोस लॉ, बट सिर्फ गैसियस कंपाउंड का, याद रखना. तो हमने एक एग्जांपल लिया है गैसियस कंपाउंड का, अमोनिया. ठीक है. तो N2 प्लस 3H2 गिव्स 2NH3. ये बैलेंस्ड इक्वेशन है अमोनिया बनने का. ठीक है. तो ये इक्वेशन से हमें ये समझ में आता है कि जब X मॉलिक्यूल्स नाइट्रोजन के 3x मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ हाइड्रोजन के साथ कंबाइन करते हैं तो 2x मॉलिक्यूल्स अमोनिया के बनते हैं। अब तुम बोलोगे सर इसमें तो ऑलरेडी दे दिया अमोनिया का फॉर्मूला, तो अमोनिया का फॉर्मूला हम क्यों डिराइव कर रहे हैं? देखो, सपोज तुम्हें अमोनिया का फॉर्मूला नहीं दिया है और तुम अमोनिया बनाते हो लैब में, तो तुम ये ऑब्जर्व करोगे कि 1 वॉल्यूम ऑफ नाइट्रोजन एंड 3 वॉल्यूम्स ऑफ हाइड्रोजन कंबाइंस टुगेदर टू गिव 2 वॉल्यूम्स ऑफ अमोनिया। ठीक है। अब अगर तुम्हें वॉल्यूम का नॉलेज है तो मॉलिक्यूल्स का नॉलेज तो डेफिनेटली आ जाएगा, क्योंकि वॉल्यूम का रेशियो और मॉलिक्यूल्स का रेशियो सेम होता है इन गैसियस कंपाउंड्स एट सिमिलर कंडीशंस ऑफ टेम्परेचर एंड प्रेशर। ठीक है। सो एवोगाद्रोस लॉ तो हम अप्लाई कर ही सकते हैं इजीली, थ्रू गेल-लुसाक्स लॉ करें या फिर डायरेक्टली करें। तो हमें यहाँ पे ये समझ में आ गया कि x मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ नाइट्रोजन कंबाइंस विद 3x मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ hydrogen to give 2x molecules of अमोनिया। अब हम x का जो फैक्टर है उसको सब जगह से हटा देंगे तो हमें मिलेगा कि therefore we can say that 1 molecule of nitrogen combines with 3 molecules of hydrogen to give 2 molecules of ammonia। ठीक है। अब हम क्या करेंगे कि हमें एटॉमिसिटी ऑलरेडी पता है, नाइट्रोजन की एटॉमिसिटी क्या है 2, मतलब 1 मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ नाइट्रोजन में कितने नाइट्रोजन के एटम्स होंगे 2। तो 1 मॉलिक्यूल की जगह मैंने क्या लिख दिया है यहाँ पे, 1 मॉलिक्यूल की जगह मैंने लिख दिया है 2 एटम्स ऑफ नाइट्रोजन। 3 मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ हाइड्रोजन, हाइड्रोजन की भी एटॉमिसिटी 2 है, तो हाइड्रोजन के हर एक मॉलिक्यूल में 2 हाइड्रोजन के एटम होंगे। हाइड्रोजन के 3 मॉलिक्यूल में कितने हाइड्रोजन के एटम्स होंगे 6। ठीक है। सो मतलब 2 मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ अमोनिया कंटेन्स 6 एटम्स ऑफ हाइड्रोजन एंड 2 एटम्स ऑफ नाइट्रोजन। अब हमें क्या ढूंढना है, हमें ढूंढना है मॉलिक्यूलर फॉर्मूला। मॉलिक्यूलर फॉर्मूला में हम एक मॉलिक्यूल में कितने एटम्स है वो ढूंढते हैं। तो हमारे पास यहाँ पे 2 मॉलिक्यूल्स है, तो लेट अस फाइंड हाउ मेनी एटम्स आर देयर इन 1 मॉलिक्यूल। तो 1 मॉलिक्यूल में अगर 2 मॉलिक्यूल में 6 हाइड्रोजन है तो 1 मॉलिक्यूल में 3 होंगे। अगर 2 मॉलिक्यूल में 2 नाइट्रोजन है तो 1 मॉलिक्यूल में 1 होगा। ठीक है। तो 1 मॉलिक्यूल में, अमोनिया के 1 मॉलिक्यूल में there is 1 atom of nitrogen and 3 atoms of hydrogen, and therefore the molecular formula of ammonia is NH3। तो without knowing the molecular formula you can derive the molecular formula using Avogadro's law, right? इसलिए Avogadro's law इतना profound है। फोर्थ एंड वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एप्लीकेशन ऑफ एवोगाद्रोस लॉ, एवोगाद्रोस लॉ, ये वाला जो एप्लीकेशन है ना, इसके ऊपर बहुत सारे न्यूमेरिकल्स हमको करना है। सो बीवेयर अबाउट फोर्थ एंड फिफ्थ लॉ, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। Avogadro's law establishes the relationship between relative vapor density and relative molecular mass। अब तुम सोचोगे relative vapor density क्या है, because this is absolutely new term। मोल कॉन्सेप्ट में तो इसका कोई मेंशन भी नहीं था। मोलार वॉल्यूम था वहां पे, लेकिन वेपर डेंसिटी के बारे में तो कुछ बोला ही नहीं था, राइट। रिलेटिव वेपर डेंसिटी का जो फॉर्म डेफिनेशन है, दैट इज इट इज द रेशियो बिटवीन मासेस ऑफ इक्वल वॉल्यूम्स ऑफ एनी गैस एंड हाइड्रोजन बोथ एट एसटीपी और सिमिलर कंडीशंस ऑफ टेम्परेचर एंड प्रेशर। मतलब रिलेटिव इसके नीचे मैंने देखो यहाँ पे फॉर्मूला भी लिखा है, इसका जो डेफिनेशन है उससे मैंने फॉर्मूला बनाया है। सो रिलेटिव वेपर डेंसिटी is mass of volume V of a gas at STP। STP भी हो सकता है, सिमिलर कंडीशंस ऑफ टेम्परेचर एंड प्रेशर भी हो सकता है। ठीक है। STP स्टैंडर्ड टेम्परेचर एंड प्रेशर, सिमिलर कंडीशंस ऑफ टेम्परेचर एंड प्रेशर में टेम्परेचर और प्रेशर कुछ भी होगा, लेकिन दोनों कंपेयर जिसको रिलेट कर रहे हैं गैसेस को, दोनों का टेम्परेचर एंड प्रेशर कंडीशन सिमिलर होना चाहिए। ठीक है। तो इसलिए मैंने STP लिख दिया है, स्टैंडर्ड या सिमिलर पढ़ो तुम, तुम्हारे ऊपर है। ठीक है। So relative vapor density according to the definition is mass of volume V of a gas at STP upon mass of volume V of hydrogen at STP। मतलब ये masses का रेशियो है, बट दोनों गैसेस का masses, मतलब जो हमारा अननोन गैस है न्यूमरेटर में वो उसका मास, और डिनोमिनेटर में जो हाइड्रोजन है उसका मास तभी कंसिडर होगा जब उनका वॉल्यूम सेम रहेगा। तो दोनों में तुम देख रहे हो वॉल्यूम कितना लिखा है हमने, V, वॉल्यूम इज V, mass of volume V of a gas at STP upon mass of volume V of hydrogen at STP। relative vapor density क्या होगा, mass of X molecules of a gas at STP, mass of x molecules of a gas at STP upon mass of x molecules of hydrogen at STP. Mass of x molecules of hydrogen at STP. Correct? Relative vapor density is mass of x molecules of a gas at STP upon mass of x molecules of hydrogen at STP. ठीक है, रिलेटिव वेपर डेंसिटी। अच्छा, मैंने क्या किया यहाँ पे, सीधा वॉल्यूम V को x मॉलिक्यूल से सब्सटीट्यूट कर दिया, क्योंकि अगर दोनों गैसेस STP पे है, मतलब सिमिलर कंडीशंस ऑफ टेम्परेचर एंड प्रेशर पे है, और दोनों का वॉल्यूम सेम है, तो दोनों में सेम नंबर ऑफ मॉलिक्यूल्स होंगे ना, क्योंकि वॉल्यूम्स को हम सब्सटीट्यूट कर सकते हैं नंबर ऑफ मॉलिक्यूल से। ये हमें कहाँ से मिलता है परमिशन? एवोगाद्रोस लॉ से। इक्वल वॉल्यूम्स ऑफ डिफरेंट गैसेस हैव सेम नंबर ऑफ मॉलिक्यूल्स, राइट? इसलिए यहाँ पे x मॉलिक्यूल्स मैंने लिख दिया। सो रिलेटिव वेपर डेंसिटी, अच्छा ये जो x मॉलिक्यूल्स है, तो उसको मैं वन मॉलिक्यूल से रिप्लेस कर सकता हूँ, क्योंकि ये तो रेशियो ही है। सो रिलेटिव वेपर डेंसिटी इज ऑल्सो द मास ऑफ वन मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ अ गैस एट STP अपॉन मास ऑफ वन मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ हाइड्रोजन एट STP, और मास ऑफ वन मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ हाइड्रोजन एट STP इज नथिंग बट 2, क्योंकि हाइड्रोजन की एटॉमिसिटी 2 है, हाइड्रोजन का रिलेटिव मॉलिक्यूलर मास भी 2 है, इसलिए मास ऑफ वन मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ हाइड्रोजन को मैंने 2 लिख दिया। ठीक है, अब 2 को मैं वो साइड ट्रांसफर कर दूंगा तो मुझे क्या मिलेगा? 2 टाइम्स रिलेटिव वेपर डेंसिटी इज इक्वल टू रिलेटिव मॉलिक्यूलर मास। मास ऑफ वन मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ गैस का मतलब रिलेटिव मॉलिक्यूलर मास, और रिलेटिव वेपर डेंसिटी इज रिलेटिव मॉलिक्यूलर मास ऑफ अ गैस अपॉन 2। तो ये रिलेशनशिप है रिलेटिव वेपर डेंसिटी और रिलेटिव मॉलिक्यूलर मास। ठीक है, अगर किसी भी सब्सटेंस का मॉलिक्यूलर मास तुम्हें पता है तो उसकी रिलेटिव वेपर डेंसिटी भी तुम निकाल सकते हो। सपोज ऑक्सीजन का रिलेटिव मॉलिक्यूलर मास है 32 ग्राम, तो ऑक्सीजन की वेपर डेंसिटी कितनी हो जाएगी? 32/2, 16। वेपर डेंसिटी is a ratio, it has no units. Let me just write this down for you, because many students will think that vapor density का unit क्या होगा? Vapor density is a ratio, it has no units, it's a pure number, it has no units, remember that. ठीक है, ओके। फिफ्थ एंड फाइनल एप्लीकेशन ऑफ एवोगाद्रोस लॉ, और ये इतना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड तरीके से शॉर्टकट से एक्सप्लेन किया है बुक में कि मुझे समझ में तो आ गया, लेकिन मुझे खुद को तुम्हें कैसे समझाना उसके लिए मुझे काफी टाइम लग गया। तो मैंने पूरा ये राइट अप रेडी किया है फॉर मेकिंग यू गाइज अंडरस्टैंड। आई होप इट दिस इज हेल्पफुल टू यू। ठीक है, बहुत अच्छे से समझ लेना कि हाउ Avogadro's law gives you the value of molar volume of a gas at STP. मैंने तुम्हें मोल कॉन्सेप्ट समझाया हुआ है, आई हैव टॉट यू मोल कॉन्सेप्ट, राइट? मोल कॉन्सेप्ट में मोल कॉन्सेप्ट में मैंने तुम्हें ये बताया है कि 1 मोल ऑफ एनी सब्सटेंस, नॉट गैस, चलो gaseous substance, 1 mole of any gaseous substance contains 6.022 times 10 to the power 23 particles of that gas, atoms or molecules, weighs equal to its gram molecular mass, and occupies 22.4 liters at STP. मैंने ये तुम्हें बताया। तो ये जो 22.4 लीटर्स है, ये आया कहाँ से? इसको समझने के लिए हम एवोगाद्रोस लॉ की हेल्प करेंगे, मतलब 22.4 लीटर को हम डिराइव करेंगे, एक टाइप ऑफ डेरिवेशन है। सो इट हैज बीन फाउंड एक्सपेरिमेंटली दैट 1 decimeter cube और 1 liter of hydrogen, not a hydrogen, let me edit that, yes, so it has been found experimentally that 1 decimeter cube or 1 liter of hydrogen weighs 0.089 grams at STP. ठीक है, 1 decimeter cube या 1 liter ऑफ हाइड्रोजन का वेट है 0.089 ग्राम्स एट STP। ये हमने एक्सपेरिमेंटली फाइंड किया है। नाउ लेट देयर बी x मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ हाइड्रोजन इन 1 liter ऑफ हाइड्रोजन। हमें नहीं पता ना कितने मॉलिक्यूल्स है, तो हमने मॉलिक्यूल्स को x ले लिया। ऑल्सो consider one more gas, any other gas, 1 liter of any other gas. See, different gases, equal volumes of different gases at similar conditions of temperature and pressure have equal number of molecules. ये किसने बोला है? एवोगाद्रो ने. तो अगर हम 1 लीटर का कोई और भी गैस कंसिडर करें, ठीक है, एट एसटीपी, तो उसमें भी तो एक्स मॉलिक्यूल्स होंगे. ठीक है, तो अभी देखो हम कैसे आगे इसको लेके जा रहे हैं. रिलेटिव वेपर डेंसिटी का फॉर्मूला क्या है? मास ऑफ एक्स मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ अ गैस एट एसटीपी अपॉन मास ऑफ एक्स मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ हाइड्रोजन एट एसटीपी. ठीक है, अब हमें पता है कि 1 लीटर हाइड्रोजन का वेट 0.089 ग्राम्स है, और मैंने अभी ये अज्यूम किया है कि 1 लीटर ऑफ हाइड्रोजन में एक्स मॉलिक्यूल्स है. तो ये जो डिनोमिनेटर है यहाँ पे, ये जो डिनोमिनेटर तुम्हें दिख रहा है यहाँ पे, मास ऑफ एक्स मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ हाइड्रोजन एट एसटीपी, उसकी जगह पे मैं सब्सटीट्यूट करूंगा 0.089. ठीक है, तो रिलेटिव वेपर डेंसिटी का फॉर्मूला क्या हो जाएगा? मास ऑफ एक्स मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ अ गैस एट एसटीपी, राइट, अपॉन 0.089. अब ये दिस इज नथिंग बट 1 अपॉन 0.089. अगर तुम 1 अपॉन 0.089 को सॉल्व करोगे तो तुम्हें एक नंबर मिलेगा अप्रोक्सीमेटली 11.2. मतलब रिलेटिव वेपर डेंसिटी ऑफ अ गैस इज मास ऑफ एक्स मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ अ गैस एट एसटीपी. अब मैं क्या करूंगा, मैंने जो पहले तुम्हें एक रिलेशनशिप यहाँ पे बताया था कि रिलेटिव वेपर डेंसिटी इज रिलेटिव मॉलिक्यूलर मास अपॉन 2. तो ये रिलेटिव वेपर डेंसिटी को रिप्लेस करके मैं क्या लिखूंगा? रिलेटिव मॉलिक्यूलर मास ऑफ अ गैस अपॉन 2 इज इक्वल टू 11.2 टाइम्स मास ऑफ एक्स मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ दैट गैस एट एसटीपी. ठीक है, अब मैं ये जो 2 है ना, 2 उसको वो साइड शिफ्ट कर दूंगा, तो 11.2 मल्टीप्लाइड बाई 2 विल बी 22.4. और यहाँ पे मैं चेंज कर रहा हूँ दोनों साइड पे. ये जो रिलेटिव मॉलिक्यूलर मास ऑफ अ गैस है उसको मैं ग्राम मॉलिक्यूलर मास में कन्वर्ट कर रहा हूँ. क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? कोई भी फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. अच्छा, और एक चीज यहाँ पे, मास ऑफ एक्स मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ अ गैस है उसको भी मैं ग्राम्स में कन्वर्ट कर रहा हूँ. मतलब मैं सिर्फ 1 ग्राम दोनों साइड मल्टीप्लाई कर रहा हूँ. if you multiply same quantity on both the sides of the equation does not change. on relative molecular mass in grams, ग्राम molecular mass होता है. ठीक है, अच्छा, ग्राम molecular mass of any gas is equal to mass of 1 mole of a gas. और ये मास ऑफ एक्स मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ अ गैस इन ग्राम्स को मैंने यहाँ पे डिनोमिनेटर में ले लिया, और यहाँ पे क्या बच गया? 22.4. अब ध्यान से देखना, क्योंकि ये चीज जो मैंने की है दैट इज नॉट बीन शोन इन योर टेक्स्ट बुक. तो ये अगर तुम समझ गए तो तुम्हारा कॉन्सेप्ट एटलीस्ट क्लियर रहेगा, न्यूमेरिकल सॉल्व करने में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा तुम. ठीक है, देखो, यू मस्ट बी अवेयर दैट डेंसिटी इज इक्वल टू मास अपॉन वॉल्यूम. डेंसिटी इज इक्वल टू मास अपॉन वॉल्यूम. सो मास क्या हो जाएगा? मास विल बी डेंसिटी मल्टीप्लाइड बाय वॉल्यूम, या वॉल्यूम मल्टीप्लाइड बाय डेंसिटी. तो ये जो मास ऑफ 1 मोल ऑफ अ गैस है ना, उसकी जगह देखो मैंने क्या लिखा है, ध्यान से देखना. उसकी जगह मैंने लिखा है वॉल्यूम ऑफ 1 मोल ऑफ गैस मल्टीप्लाइड बाय डेंसिटी ऑफ गैस अपॉन मास ऑफ एक्स मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ अ गैस. इन ग्राम्स को मैंने लिखा है वॉल्यूम ऑफ एक्स मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ गैस मल्टीप्लाइड बाय डेंसिटी ऑफ गैस. अब दोनों साइड, दोनों न्यूमरेटर डिनोमिनेटर से जो डेंसिटी है वो कट हो जाएगा. तो वी हैव गॉट वॉल्यूम ऑफ 1 मोल ऑफ गैस इन द न्यूमरेटर, and in denominator I have written 1 liter. You know why 1 liter? Because see, volume of x molecules of a gas, मैं इधर ही बताता हूँ. 1 liter of any gas which would also contain x molecules at STP. तो x molecules का वॉल्यूम कितना रहेगा किसी और गैस का? 1 लीटर. इसलिए मैंने डिनोमिनेटर में 1 लीटर डाल दिया. अब ये 1 लीटर को ये 22.4 से मल्टीप्लाई कर दूंगा ऑन द अदर साइड, और यहाँ पे क्या आ जाएगा? वॉल्यूम ऑफ 1 मोल ऑफ गैस, विच वी नो दैट it is molar volume of a gas. So molar volume of a gas is 22.4 liters. This is how you have got the value of molar volume. Okay, if you find this difficult, trust me, you are right, this is difficult, this is technical. Okay, और इसको इतने शॉर्ट वे में वो लोग ने दिखाया है टेक्स्ट बुक में, यू कैन चेक इट आउट. बट मैंने इसको थोड़ा सा और एलैबोरेट करके अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन करने की कोशिश की है. You can watch this part again and again till you understand. I'm sure that ये 5 applications जो मैंने दिए हैं, you can also note them down. Pause the video and note them down as I am reading them. ये पांचों application इससे easy way में I don't think that they can be explained. ठीक है, अब हमें क्या करना है, इसके ऊपर न्यूमेरिकल्स करना है, तो लेट्स स्टार्ट दैट। Okay, so this is our first numerical. Let's see. First question. Calculate the atomicity of chlorine if 35.5 grams of it occupies 11,200 centimeter cube at STP. See, we know one thing about chlorine, that 1 mole of chlorine occupies, sorry, we have to calculate the atomicity, right? Yes, 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 correct. So 1 mole of chlorine occupies 22,400 centimeter cube at STP. That's its molar volume, correct? So how many moles of chlorine will occupy 11,200 centimeter cube at STP? So we can calculate it by unitary method. 11,200 multiplied by 1 upon 22,400, which will give us 1 by 2, that is 0.5 moles. Okay, one more thing. So we have 0.5 moles of chlorine. See, 0.5 moles of chlorine weighs 35.5 grams, right? 35.5 grams. So 1 mole will weigh how many grams? That is 1 multiplied by 35.5 upon 0.5. So you will get 71 grams. 71 grams. Okay, so now we know that the gram molecular mass, therefore gram molecular mass of chlorine is equal to 71 grams. Okay, atomicity of chlorine is equal to gram molecular mass of chlorine upon gram atomic mass of chlorine. We have just calculated gram molecular mass of chlorine as 71 grams, and we know that atomic mass of chlorine, gram atomic mass, is 35.5 grams. So 71 divided by 35.5 will give you 2. So this is the atomicity of chlorine. Okay, so this is complete mole concept with the application of Avogadro's law. These kind of questions will be asked to you. Let's go to the next question. Calculate the volume occupied by 2.8 grams of nitrogen at STP. See, we know that 1 mole of nitrogen weighs 28 grams and occupies 22.4 liters at STP. Okay, so we have 2.8 grams of nitrogen. That will occupy how much? So 2.8 multiplied by 22.4 upon 28. So this is simple unitary method. Okay, 2.8 tens are 28, and this will be 2.24 liters. 2.24 liters of nitrogen will occupy So, sorry, 2.8 grams of nitrogen will occupy 2.24 liters at STP. Next question. Calculate gram molecular mass of nitrogen if 360 centimeter cube at STP weighs 0.45 grams. Now you will say, sir, we know gram molecular mass of nitrogen. It is 28 grams. We just used it in the previous question. Yeah, but you cannot use it directly over here. You have to calculate it. Okay, so how to calculate? I'll tell you. The first one, gram molecular mass of nitrogen, we have to calculate 360 centimeter cube. 360 centimeter cube of nitrogen weighs at STP, I'm sorry, weighs 0.45 grams. 0.45 grams. So 22,400 centimeter cube of N2 at STP will weigh how much? Unitary method. 22,400 multiplied by 0.45, the whole divided by 360. Okay, let's simplify this. So first we will divide 224 by 36. 224 divided by 36 is approximately 6.22. 6.22 multiplied by 0.45 multiplied by 0.45 will give you, just a moment, wait, we have 2240 divided by 36, not 224. I just forgot one zero. So this will be 62.2 multiplied by 0.45, which is 28 grams. So 0.45, sorry, uh, gram molecular mass of nitrogen is 28 grams. Just write the final statement here. Gram molecular mass of nitrogen is 28 grams. Next is number of gram molecules of water in 4.5 grams of water. Okay, so we have 4.5 grams of water. What we have to find in that? We have to find number of gram molecule of water. In 4.5 grams of water. See, we know that gram molecular mass of water is 18 grams. That means 18 grams of water is equal to 1 gram molecule. 1 gram molecule of water. 18 grams of water is 1 gram molecule of water. I have 4.5 grams of water. That will be how many grams? Gram molecule of water. So 4.5 multiplied by 1 upon 18. That is 45 upon 180. So 45 4s are 180. Right? So 1 by 4 is 0.25. So 4.5 grams of water is 0.25 gram molecules of 0.25 gram molecules of water. Okay, next question. all questions are mostly unitary method based. So if your unitary method is strong and if your mole concept is clear, you can easily solve them, like how I am solving them. Right now, you just have to observe and understand that how I am solving it. If you note down while I am solving it, it will be very nice. If you don't, no problem, but just observe how I'm solving it, because you have to solve the exercise yourself. That time you should not say that, okay, I don't know how to proceed. That's why you have to observe nicely, okay? What volume of oxygen is required to completely burn a mixture of 224 centimeter cube of methane and 112 centimeter cube of hydrogen at STP to produce steam and carbon dioxide? Okay, so we have to completely burn a mixture of 224 centimeter cube of methane, CH4, I'm sorry, 224 centimeter cube of methane and 112 centimeter cube of hydrogen has to be burned completely. So how much oxygen will be required? That's what they are asking. These two are at STP. Okay, so oxygen required will also be at STP. Okay. If the steam formed is condensed to water, find the mass of water so far. Great. So first we have to use Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes. For that, we will find the balanced equation of methane and hydrogen with oxygen. Okay, so hydrogen is 4 first of all. So, and oxygen is also 4 now. So CH4 plus 2O2 gives CO2 plus 2H2O. This is balanced now. The ratio in which these uh, constituents are combining is 1 is to 2 is to 1 is to 2. I'm taking the ratio of water here because they are saying that steam is formed and then it is condensed to water. So if this is steam, it has to be considered, its ratio has to be considered. Anyways, so now we know that methane is 224 centimeter cube. This is one volume, two volume, one volume, two volume. This is 224 centimeter cube methane. Okay, oxygen required is 2 volume. Okay, for every volume of methane, 2 volume of oxygen is required to burn it completely. So oxygen required would be 448 centimeter cube. Carbon dioxide formed would be 1 volume, that is 224 centimeter cube. And water formed would be 2 volume, that is steam formed will be 448 centimeter cube. Okay, so we can write for burning 224 centimeter cube of methane, 448 centimeter cube of oxygen is required, and 224 centimeter cube of CO2 is formed, and 448 centimeter cube of steam is formed. Okay, so this part is over. Methane is burned with oxygen. The next part is hydrogen. This is hydrogen as well. Okay, so the equation of hydrogen is H2 plus O2 gives H2O, and on balancing it gives 2H2O over here and 2H2O over here. So the ratio in which hydrogen and oxygen are combining with each other to form steam is 2 is to 1 is to 2. 2 is to 1 is to 2. Okay. Now, wait. This is 2 volume. This is 1 volume. This is 2 volume. Now we know that hydrogen is 112 centimeter cube, right? So this is 112 centimeter cube, which is 2 volume. So 1 volume will be half of 112, which is 61 centimeter cube. Are you sure 61? 120. No, not 61. Wait. Uh, 56 centimeter cube. I'm sorry for that. 56 centimeter cube. And steam formed would be again 2 volume, which is 112 centimeter cube. Right? So according to Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes, we can find the volume of constituents of this reaction. Okay, after this, you will write that for burning hydrogen, for burning 112 centimeter cube of hydrogen, for burning 112 centimeter cube of hydrogen, 56 centimeter cube of oxygen, and 112 centimeter cube 56 centimeter cube of oxygen is required, and 112 centimeter cube of steam is formed. Okay. Okay, so the first question which was asked to us was what volume of oxygen is required, right? And what is the mass of water formed? These are the two questions. So we can write that total volume of oxygen required, total volume of oxygen required is, in the first reaction of methane, the oxygen required was 448 centimeter cube. 448 centimeter cube, plus in the second equation, the second reaction, oxygen required was 56 centimeter cube. Okay, so 448 plus 56, that is 450 plus 50 is 500, and 504 centimeter cube, correct? 504 centimeter cube of oxygen is required. And what is the mass of steam produced? Okay, total volume of steam produced, total volume of steam produced is, in the first reaction the steam produced was 448 centimeter cube, and in the second reaction the steam produced is 112 centimeter cube. Okay, so 448 plus 112 is 560 centimeter cube. Now we know that 1 mole of steam or water weighs 18 grams and occupies 22.4 sorry, 22,400 centimeter cube. I'm talking in centimeter cube because the volume here is in centimeter cube. 22,400 centimeter cube. 1 mole of steam is 18 grams, weighs 18 grams and occupies 22,400 centimeter cube. So how many grams of steam will occupy 560 centimeter cube? 560 centimeter cube. How many grams of steam will occupy 560 centimeter cube? Okay, so we have 18 multiplied by 560, 18 multiplied by 560, the whole upon 22,400. Okay, so the mass of water formed will be very, very little. Okay, because here we can see that only 18 grams is the weight of 22,400 centimeter cube of steam. So 18 multiplied by 560 divided by 22,400, that is 0.45, 0.45 grams. Okay, so 0.45 grams of steam or water will be formed. 0.45 grams of steam or water will be formed. Okay, so let's check the answer. Correct. Did you understand? So what we are doing over here is we are applying Gay-Lussac's law as well, and we are applying mole concept also, right? Wherever there is moles involved with unitary method, there is mole concept, and wherever there is law of combining volumes involved, there is Gay-Lussac's law. So these are like combination questions. Okay, let's go to the next question. A gas cylinder filled with hydrogen holds 50 grams of the gas. A gas cylinder filled with hydrogen holds 50 grams of the gas. The same cylinder holds 200 grams of gas X and 500 grams of gas Y. Wow. So see, we are talking about a single gas cylinder. Okay. So that means it has fixed volume. A gas cylinder has fixed volume. Okay. So let the volume of cylinder be V, you can say liters. Okay. V liters. And in this volume, there is hydrogen, there is gas X, and there is gas Y. Okay. So in V liters, you can say V liters of hydrogen, V liters of X, and V liters of Y. We have all the three gases, right? Same volume of all three different gases, but see the masses. V volume of hydrogen is 50 grams of hydrogen. V volume of gas X is 200 grams of gas X, and volume V or V liters of gas Y is 500 grams, is weighing 500 grams, right? Considering the same conditions of temperature and pressure in the cylinder. Okay, so the cylinder has same conditions of temperature and pressure. Calculate the relative molecular masses of gases X and Y. Relative molecular masses of gases X and Y has to be calculated. Okay, great. See, we know one formula of relative vapor density. ठीक है? Relative vapor density is mass of volume V of gas X or Y. I should not write gas X. Of a gas, actually. Mass of volume V of a gas upon mass of volume V of hydrogen. That is the formula for relative vapor density, if you remember. Therefore, relative vapor density of gas X is equal to mass of volume V of gas X. What is mass of volume V liters of gas X? 200 grams. And what is mass of volume V of hydrogen? 50 grams. So relative vapor density of gas X is nothing but 4. It's just a number. Okay. Now we have to find uh, relative molecular mass of gas X, right? Am I correct? Relative molecular mass of gas X. So we know that relative vapor density, if you want to find relative molecular mass RMM of gas X is equal to, it is equal to relative vapor density of gas X multiplied by 2. So what is the relative vapor density? Relative vapor density is 4. And if you multiply 4 by 2, you get relative molecular mass of gas X. Am I correct? Relative molecular mass, so it will be 8 units, not 8 grams. Okay, let's check the answer. 8, yes. So the formula is correct. Relative molecular mass is relative vapor density times 2. Again, relative vapor density of gas Y is equal to mass of volume V of gas Y, which is 500 grams, upon mass of volume V of hydrogen, which is 50 grams. So relative vapor density of gas Y is nothing but 10. Relative molecular mass of gas Y. What will be relative molecular mass of gas Y? It will be relative vapor density multiplied by 2. That is 10 times 2, which is 20. So this is how you find the relative molecular mass. Relative vapor density, a new concept learned in this part. This is direct application. This question is direct application of this new concept. 0.583 grams of acetone, when vaporized, formed 225 centimeter cube of vapors at STP. Oh, so at STP, the vapor's volume is 225 centimeter cube. Calculate the gram molecular mass of the gas. Gram molecular mass. Great. See, we know that 225 centimeter cube of acetone weighs weighs 0.583 grams. So 22,400 centimeter cube of acetone will weigh how much? Why we are finding the weight of 22,400 centimeter cube of acetone at STP? Because 22,400 centimeter cube of any gas at STP weighs equal to its gram molecular mass. So 22,400 times 0.583, the whole upon 225. So 22,400 multiplied by 0.583 divided by 225, which is approximately 58.04 grams. This is the gram molecular mass. Gram molecular mass of acetone is 58.04 grams. 58.04 grams. Let's go to the next question. Next question is, calculate the vapor density and molecular mass of carbon dioxide if 200 ml of the gas at STP weighs 0.40 grams. So we have to calculate the vapor density and molecular mass of carbon dioxide. And we know that 200 ml of the gas at STP weighs 0.40 grams. So if 200 ml, see, we know that, if you don't know, please note it, 1 ml is equal to 1 centimeter cube, which is 1 cc. Okay, so 200 ml is 200 cc or 200 centimeter cube, or cubic centimeter. 200 cc of CO2 at STP weighs 0.40 grams. So 22,400 cc of CO2 at STP will weigh how much? That is 22,400 multiplied by 0.40, the whole upon 200. 0, 0 cut, and 2 gets cut with 0.40, that is 0.2, and you get 44.8 grams, right? 44 point, is it 40? No, it's 22.4 times 2. Yeah, it's 44 point, 22.4 times 2 is 44.8. Yes, it is 44.8. If there is some mistake, I don't know, because here it's showing 44.44. Calculate the vapor density and molecular mass of CO2. Okay, okay, okay. So you know why we are getting some different answer over here, because they have used some other method. They have mentioned 1 liter of hydrogen at STP weighs 0.09 grams, right? So I will show you that method as well. Chalo, I will show you here. Anyways, let me write over here. Therefore, gram molecular mass of CO2 is 44.8 grams, and relative vapor density is gram molecular mass upon 2, which is 22.4, just 22.4. There is no number and there is no unit because it's a number. So this is first method which we are getting slight different answer over here, but there is one more method. So we know that relative vapor density is mass of volume V of a gas upon mass of volume V of hydrogen. Mass of volume V of a gas upon mass of volume V of hydrogen. Okay, now see, they have given that we have 200 ml of the gas. So if 200 ml of gas weighs 0.40 grams, 1 liter will weigh how much? 1 liter is 1000 ml. Let me write 1000 ml because that's appropriate. Why we are finding the weight of 1000 ml, I'll just let you know. Okay, so let me just take it to the other side. 200 ml of CO2 weighs 0.40 grams. So 1000 ml will weigh how much? 200 fives are 1000. 5 fours are 0.4 multiplied by 5 is 2. Okay, so this is 2 grams. The answer is 2 grams. That means 1 liter of CO2 weighs 2 grams. Correct? Now, we know that mass of volume V of a gas, mass of 1 liter of CO2, we can replace it with that, and upon we can write mass of 1 liter of hydrogen. So relative vapor density of CO2 becomes mass of 1 liter of CO2 is 2 grams upon mass of 1 liter of hydrogen is 0.09 grams. It's given over here in the question. 0.09. Okay, so relative vapor density becomes 200 by 9. 200 by 9. So 200 by 9 is 22.22. And we had got over here 22.4 by unitary method. Okay, so this formula gives a slightly different answer because of that value of mass of 1 liter of hydrogen, that is 0.09. Had it been 0.089, the answer would have been slightly different, right? And if we have got relative vapor density of carbon dioxide, relative molecular mass is 2 times the relative vapor density. So 2 times 22.22, that is 44.44 grams. Okay, let's move to the next question. A gas at a pressure of 700 mm of Hg and a temperature of 57 degrees Celsius occupies 700 ml. Okay, so a gas at a pressure of 700 mm of Hg, P1 700 mm of Hg and temperature 50 degrees Celsius, T1 57 degrees Celsius, sorry. Let's convert this degree Celsius into Kelvin. So I assume that there is gas laws involved. So that's why I don't want to take any chance with uh, the temperature part. Okay, so 57 plus 273. So that is 330 Kelvin. 330 Kelvin. Occupies 700 ml. V1 700 ml. At if at STP the mass of the gas is 1.5 grams, find the vapor density and molecular mass of the gas. Okay, so first we have to find uh, at STP what will be the volume of this gas. So this gas is at 700 mm of Hg pressure. At STP its pressure is going to become 760 mm of Hg. At STP the temperature is going to become 273 Kelvin, right? 273 Kelvin. At STP we have to find the volume V2. So applying the gas law, using gas law, P1 V1 upon T1 is equal to P2 V2 upon T2. So P1 is 700, V1 is 700, T1 is 330. P2 is 760, V2 is not known, T2 is 273. So 700, so wait, let me cut the zeros where I can, because this is going to get big. So this 0 cuts with this 0 here, and okay, let's see what we have here. 770 multiplied by 700 multiplied by 273 upon 33 multiplied by 760 is equal to V2, is equal to V2. So V2, I hope you are also doing this calculation. If not, no problem. I have found the volume to be 533.37 ml. Okay, so this is the volume of the gas at STP. Now they are saying that if the mass of gas is 1.5 grams at STP, find the vapor density and molecular mass of the gas. And we again, they have given this information to us that 1 liter of hydrogen at STP weighs 0.09 grams. Okay, so let's use unitary method and solve this further. So we will write here that 533.37 ml, 533.37 ml of gas weighs 1.5 grams at STP. Okay, so 1 liter will weigh how many grams? So 1 into 1.5 upon 533.37. Hey, 1 liter is 1000 ml. There is one more mistake, because this is ml. I cannot write it as liter. I have to write it as 1000. So this will be 1.5 multiplied by 1000. So this will be 1500 upon 533.37. Okay, let's find it out. Okay, so it gives you 2.81. 2.81 grams. Okay, so 1 liter, therefore mass of 1 liter of gas at STP is 2.81 grams. 2.81 grams. Okay, now what? The formula for relative vapor density. Mass of 1 liter of gas at STP upon mass of 1 liter of hydrogen at STP. So we'll directly get the relative vapor density. So mass of 1 liter of gas at STP is 2.81, and mass of 1 liter of hydrogen at STP is 0.09 as per the question. So 2.81 divided by 0.09 will give you the relative vapor density. So 2.81 divided by 0.09, 31.22. Relative vapor density is 31.2. So what is the relative molecular mass of the gas? It is 2 times relative vapor density. That is 2 times 31.22, which is 62.44 grams. Let's check the answers. Let's first check the question because I did not read the whole question. Find the vapor density and molecular mass. 31.25, 62.50. What we are getting? 31.22, 62.44. And what they are getting? 62.50. So yeah, there is slight difference. And I don't know where this slight difference came from. Maybe in the volume. 533.37 we have used. They might have used 533.4. They have rounded off earlier itself. Also, it can be over here. Mass of 1 liter of gas, they might have used it at as 2.8 instead of 2.81. So that's why that small difference. But yeah, that difference is definitely acceptable. And if you get the answer which I have got, you will definitely get marks. Okay, so this is very interesting question because there was a use of gas law over here. So uh, in initial questions, I showed you the use of Gay-Lussac's law. This is the use of gas law, and then there is also mole concept involved. Also, the application of relative vapor density formula. That is also very interesting. So these all new things you are learning. Chalo, next question. Okay, only two more questions to go and then we are done with this part. Calculate the mass of a substance A which in gaseous form occupies 10 decimeter cube at 27 degrees Celsius and 700 mm pressure. Okay. So the volume is 10 decimeter cube. 10 decimeter cube is 10 liters, which is 10,000 centimeter cube or cc at 27 degrees Celsius, T1. 27 degrees Celsius, so 27 plus 273, which is 300 Kelvin, and 700 mm pressure. 700 mm pressure, sorry. So P1, here also there is application of gas law. P1 is equal to 700 mm of Hg pressure. V2 we have to find, that is volume at STP. T2 is 273 Kelvin and P2 is 760 mm of Hg. Okay, so by gas law, we can say that P1 V1 upon T1 is equal to P2 V2 upon T2. 700 times 10,000. You can keep it as 10 liter. You will get the final volume in liters. It's okay, no problem. Doesn't matter. T1 is 300 Kelvin. So first let the zeros go. Okay, P2 is 760, V2 is unknown, and T2 is 273. Okay, so V2 is equal to 273 times 10,000, 273 times 10,000, the whole upon 273 times 10,000, the whole upon 3 times 760, the whole upon 3 times 760. So this 0 will cut, and 273 also gets cut with 3, right? So 3 nines are 27 and 3 ones are 3, correct? So we get 91,000 by 76. Yes, 91,000. There are 3 zeros here by 76. Let's see what we get, the volume. 1197.3. 1197.3 cc, centimeter cube. Okay, now if you divide it by 1000, you get 1.19 liters approximately. So let's do it. Okay, what we have to find actually, calculate the mass of a substance which substance A, which in gaseous form occupies 10 decimeter cube at 27 degrees Celsius and 700 mm pressure. The molecular mass of the substance is 60 grams. Okay, so we know that if the molecular mass, that is gram molecular mass of A, substance A, is 60 grams, then we can say that, therefore, by mole concept, 22,400 cc of A at STP weighs weighs 60 grams. So 1197.3 cc of A at STP will weigh how much? That's what we need to find, right? So 1197.3 times 60, the whole upon 22,400. Okay, so we have 1197.3 times 60, okay, divided by 22,400. So we get 3.20, 3.20 or 21 grams. So we had to find the mass. Let's check. Oh, the mass is wrong. Mass of substance A is wrong. Let me check my mistake, please. Okay, I think I did a silly mistake and I found my mistake. See, there was this 7 over here. I just skipped that 7 somewhere. So this 7 is missing in the whole thing. If 7 is missing, then this volume will be multiplied by 7, right? So it will be, let me show you, 91 multiplied by 70,000 divide by 76. 91 multiplied by 70,000 divided by 76. Mm, yes, approximately. This is the wrong answer actually, according to that 7 thing. The answer which we are getting, there should be 70,000 here, right? So this will be into 7 and the answer will be 83,815.8 cc. Yeah, so that's the main mistake. And then ahead everything went wrong. So let me just change two things. That is one of this thing and one over here, and this one will change automatically. So we have 83,815.8 over here. So 83,815.8 over here. 83,815.8 multiplied by 60 divided by 22,400. There is again, I think there is some mistake. Let me check again. 83,815.8 multiplied by 60 divided by 22,400. I'm getting 224.5 and the answer is, so there is some mistake somewhere, some point 22.45. I'm getting 224.5. Okay, molecular mass is 60 grams, right? I think my answer is correct because if 22,400 cc weighs 60 grams, then 83,000 will weigh more, na yaar, more than 60 grams. But wait, I have to check my volume. I want to check my volume. So I have 700 by 10,000, 10 decimeter cube upon 300. So I have, let me check. Okay, I got my mistake. Again, I did a silly mistake over here. So this will be 8381.5. 8381.5 cc. Yes. So just one point which the number is correct, just one point which is not right. Right. So 8381.5, 8381.5, 22.4 liters. cc? No, sorry, 22.4 grams. 22.4, sorry, 2. एक मिनट क्या है यार, 22.45 grams. Yes. Okay, so this was the method. Let's go to the last question. Calculate the volumetric composition of water. Volumetric composition of water. Hmm. See, we know that molecular formula. Hey, how they are asking us to find? Molecular formula of H2 of water is H2O. Molecular formula of water is H2O. Hmm. I'm not sure. Let's have a look in the book यार. मेरे को पता नहीं कैसे ये लोग बोल रहे हैं निकालने के लिए. Volumetric composition of water. I feel it is through the balanced chemical equation. 2H2 plus O2 gives 2H2O. 2 is to 1 is to 2. Let's check. Okay, yeah, it is the same. No, but volumetric composition is like they have taken out certain percentages. Okay, that is new. Okay, so they have said that 2H2O plus 2H2 gives 2H2O gives 2H2 plus O2. 2 is to 2 is to 1. Total 3 volume. So the volumetric composition of water, that is hydrogen is 66%, 66.66, and oxygen is 33.33. So the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen is 2 is to 1 by volume. That's it. That was simple. Okay. Anyway, so we got all the answers and we completed the second part, exercise 5b of chapter mole concept. So this exercise 5b now for you is the homework which you should start as soon as possible. I'll be seeing you in the next class. Bye bye.